the caretaker of the place, or he was the one who cleaned the building. And he came and he grabbed my arm and he goes, come here. And he said, he opened the door and I go, oh no, we're not supposed to go in there. And he goes, you can. I haven't thought about this dream for a long time. And so he took me in there and he took me down to the stage, and the stage was set up with these beautiful, luxurious white chairs, like lounge chairs, comfy couches and love seats and other chairs. And I was going to do a concert. And I said, but why are the people, the audience, why are the audience on the stage? And he says, because you bring the people up close and personal. And then, as soon as I had that flash realization that I had already dreamt it, I went, and the tour guide turned around and said, what? And I said, I dreamt all of this. And she goes, wow, cool. And then she went on with the tour. So anyway, I just thought I'd tell you what the dream was. All right. So, when I was born, or let's go before I was born, my mother didn't want me. My mother had a very difficult, scary childhood, and she raised her siblings, and she did not want children, and she did not. I was the second born, and she was only 19 and a half when I was born, and she did not want me. And I knew that. Because in the womb, the baby can hear the parents, they can feel what the parents are feeling. And I knew that she wanted to get rid of me. And so then I knew also prophetically, I knew what my future was going to be with her. And I did not want to be born. I wanted to go back to God. And so I fought, and the cord got wrapped around my neck twice, and I almost died. And when the first thing she said when the doctor brought me to her is, oh, darn, it's a girl. And he was furious with her, and he said, you better be glad she's alive. We almost lost her. And God spoke to me years later, and he said, no, they would have lost you. I saved you because I wanted you. And she brought me home to a house that was, my dad was in the service up in northern Michigan, and she was alone. She had nobody to help her, and the oil furnace was broken when she walked in the door, and the fumes from the oil were just horrible, and she was so angry. And she goes, oh, great, now I've got this going on, and I got this baby. I wasn't a me. It wasn't a treasure, a beautiful thing. And she told me that, well, and this is how I found out. So all my life, she was not nice to me. I felt that she didn't love me. And I didn't know why. I thought it was my fault. I thought I hated myself. I thought I wasn't good enough. Why does she hate me like this? Why is she so mean to me? And so I was in my, early 50s, I think. And I was very, very ill. I was married to an abuser, and I'll tell a little bit about that. She came to my house and she said, I have to talk to you. She said, I'm having these horrible nightmares and I don't know why. I dream that I have a baby and I throw her in a ditch and I leave her there. And I just don't know why. And it's traumatizing to me. And I'm afraid it's a sign about what I did to you. And I have to tell you so I can get rid of these nightmares. And I was bewildered. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. And she said, I abused you when you were a baby. And it's so bad. And she said, not only that, but I never held you. I would not look you in the eye. I did not want you. I propped the bottle up. I did not breastfeed you. She had 7 children and she breastfed everyone but me. And she said, I propped the bottle up. And I did, the things I had to do for you. But if you cried, I shut the door. So as a baby, I learned if I cry, no one's coming. Not only that, when she came to abuse me, I had a vision that I cried so hard that I saw this baby with this purple face and just shaking with crying, like, why do you hate me like this, And then I always wondered why my siblings shut me out and disliked me, but it was because God showed me she patterned that I was not a part of the family. And so then they treated me that way. And so I never had the love of my mother. Now, my siblings in the Matrix family do not know all of this. They would think that I'm lying right now. But my mother told me, and it was something between us. And so I never had her love until about 2003. And they tolerated me, but they did not notice that I did not have her love, right? And so when I began to get her love, it was because she was moved with compassion by my suffering on one of my many traumas. And so she finally woke up to wanting to be my mother. And I went to her after God downloaded this miraculous type of therapy to me, and I wanted to deliver it to her. And I went to Oregon, where she lived, and I gave her my one-of-a-kind therapy. It has 8 different kinds of therapy in one, and I downloaded it through 60 Visions. I didn't ask for it. It just came to me, and I just did it, and it happened. And it had, it had music, essential oils, craniosacral, this special massage touch that was like an actual dance. I mean, I danced with the limbs and so that they would let go. I lured the body into letting go of every place it was holding anything, stress or memory or whatever, arms and legs. And it was just the most, it would be choreographed according to my music. I would have my music on, which was breathed by God in the first place. And so then I knew my own music, right? And so I was able to choreograph every move I made with this massage. And I could feel Shekinah glory come into the room when I did it. I would sing over the person's body as I was doing it. And I would be massaging and doing this whole thing with my eyes closed. And so I did this for my mom. And then always at the end of the therapy, I would sing the person's destiny song to them. And I would just sing it right into their eyes. I am the delivery boy for the love song from God to the person. And I would look right into their eyes. And when I finished, my mother took my face in her hands. And she said, I love you. And I got the eye to eye for the first time in my life. And from then on, she adored me. But my siblings didn't like it. And so the anger and the jealousy and the hatred grew and grew and grew until I am completely shut out of that Matrix family. When my mother was dying, I was not allowed to speak to her until my dad reversed it, and then I was able to speak to her on the phone. I got a ticket to go there. It was right after the shutdown, when they allowed flights and things were a little bit easier. And I got permission from the governor's office. I got permission from the congressman's office. But my sister said, you don't have permission from us. And so if you come, we're going to quarantine you for 2 weeks. So I couldn't go. I had to cancel my trip, and my mother died without me. I did not get to say goodbye. And so I had a sister who was speaking to me at the time, and I told her how to do my therapy as best as we could, and she put the phone by my mother's ear. And hospice had pumped her so full of morphine that she had a stroke. And when I began to sing to her, tears began to stream down her face, even though she was in a deep, deep coma and on her way out. And I said, I know you can hear me, Mom. I love you. And so then my father went to live with my brother, and now they won't allow me to speak to my 82-year-old father who raised me. And so I now am left alone in the world, except that I went to God and I asked him to tell me, what is the kingdom spirit realm story of this horrible matrix story? And he gave me a revelation on healing from family rejection and who is your family. And I found out it's you. Because family, true, real world family, are those who see you, those who know you, those who celebrate you and accept you into their hearts. That's real family, true. And it doesn't matter if you've never met them. It doesn't matter. They're real family. And so God gave me that. You know, every teaching I have, every revelation that helps people, I got it because I needed it, right? And so I'm able to bring out all my tools out of my bag, my medical bag, and deliver them at this time in history. So this summer, excuse me, this summer, I was talking, well, some tragedy happened again where the hatred of this family landed in, how should I say it? It affected a relative, not a distant relative, but a cousin that I loved, and I lost that cousin as well. And I was so traumatized by that, because it's like, when is it going to stop, you know? And shortly after that, I had a visitation from my grandmother, who has passed on to the real world. And in this visitation, it was not a dream. It could have been a night vision or some kind of visitation, because when you remember every detail, when you can remember how things feel, then it's real. It really happened. Okay. So Grandma came to me, and she's suddenly in my arms, and I go, Grandma? And I said, oh my gosh, I can touch you. I'm hugging you, Grandma. And she was ignoring me because she was whispering something in my ear. She said, you must check your family line. And I said, what? She said, you must check your family line. And unbeknownst to me, that very day, my favorite cousin, who I grew up with, was talking to her mother, and her mother told her, I never told anyone, but I don't think Theresa, that her father is her father. And that was the same day Grandma came to me. 2 days later, I'm talking to that cousin, and I say, I still will never understand why this family hates me so much. I've been the peacemaker. I've been edifying them. I've been supporting them and celebrating them my whole life. And I've tried and tried to earn their love. And finally, I'm about to reveal my age. At this time in my life, I decided, why should I have to earn their love? And at this age, if I haven't earned it by now, I'm never going to. And I'm going to free myself like a gazelle. And I'm going to cut it off. I'm going to be done. I'm going to walk away. And I did. And the sense of freedom that came over me was just so joyful. I was just full of joy. I'm done. I don't have to try hard anymore. It's over. The war is over. I walked away. But I said to my cousin, oh my goodness, somebody's got their mic open. Okay. All right. So I said to my cousin, I still will never grasp why they would have such violent hatred towards me when I have done nothing, not one thing have I done to them, but love them. And that's when she told me, your dad is not your dad. The man who raised you is not your dad. And you would think that I would burst into tears because I loved him. He had a problem with me as well. And he let me know many, many times. And I couldn't understand that either. And so when she told me, it was like there was this burden that lifted off me, like a relief. I did not cry one tear. I was like, that makes sense of my whole life. If this is true, it makes sense of my whole life. But I did feel dizzy and I could not find the ground under my feet. So someone sent me to a resort for a weekend to regain my composure. So anyway, I find myself at this point in my life and I don't even know my last name. I don't know who I am except for in God. So anyway, okay. I just want to check my notes here, see where I should go next, because as I said, it's extremely complicated. The preparation that I've been through for this day. Let me see here. I'm just going to be very unprofessional, okay? All right. All right. And then I wanted to kind of flee my home life. And so I married a person that God spoke to me and said, don't do it. Don't do it. He's going to rob you of your destiny. And I did it because I didn't want to be alone. And that's what happened. And I walked into a prison for 25 years that was the worst nightmare. I mean, it was so many levels of abuse and psychotic Twilight Zone. I thought I was going to lose my mind. And I know now from all the training that I've been through that he was a split personality and there were demons involved. And I heard them speak even, that there were times when I jumped out the window to escape, and I left 5 times. And the thing was, he was a con. He was a very good con. He was such a nice guy out in the public. And he was a chronic liar. And he told everyone all these horrible lies about me. And so, you know, everyone was always against me. And I felt like I was even shut out of my own hometown. And for a long time. But now we're seeing in the analytics that that my hometown is now loving me and they're following me. So hello to Muskegon, Michigan. And so anyway, I almost died in this relationship. I was bedridden twice for 5 months at a time. Even whispering was too much. It was too hard. And I needed healing music, but I couldn't find anything soothing enough. And so I determined that when I got well, I would go into the studio and produce healing music. And so all of my CDs have a different healing function. They are for peace when you have anxiety. They are for healing of the body and the heart and the mind and the past. And they are for depression and all of those different things, and also for finding God. And so I did every kind of function for this music that I could think of that I needed. And I came with a healing ministry over 40 years ago called Somebody Cares. And why do you suppose I named it that? Because at that time I felt nobody cared. So because of the lies that my ex-husband told, no one would come and see me. No one would come and help me or cook any meals for me. I would call the church and ask for prayer, and they would not pray for me. I asked for communion, they would not come. And I could not understand it. They said, "Oh, you're just being sick to get attention." No, what was actually happening is I was self-poisoning. So when you live in abuse like that on every level, the organs tighten and then you self-poison. And that was what was happening. And God led me out of that. And, I did not want to be divorced because of religion. I knew that I would be an outcast just because I escaped. Because in a lot of Christian circles, you're taught that you got to go home and submit, even if it's abuse. A lot of you know what I'm talking about. And so finally, God sent 3 prophets in 2 weeks' time. I saw a vision of a ball and a chain on my ankle. And right after that, someone came to me and said, "I see a ball and chain on your ankle, but I see it opening. And God told me you would know what that meant." And I said, "No," because I couldn't see it opening. And then 2 more prophets came to me and said, "God said you're free to go." And I didn't want to because I was so afraid of the being outcast by the church. And finally, the Lord told me, he said, "You have 2 choices, divorce or death, because he's going to kill you. You're going to die because of the abuse." And so I left. I finally freed myself, and my body began to pour toxins out of it through my eyes. My eyes were just nonstop watering, and every organ let go because my body knew I was finally safe. Right? And then 5 years later, I walked right into another one. And God warned me again, and I did it again because I didn't want to be alone. I was so tired of trying to survive on my own. And this is before I learned how to escape the matrix, right? So I felt like I was a victim. And so I married this incredibly gorgeous man. I mean, he looked like Dudley Do-Right, if you were old enough to remember that. He looked like a movie star, like, wow, and he just wowed me. And early on, I realized he married me for the glam of the trip, the road, the tour, because I was going all over the world. And almost immediately, he shut me down on the road. So he would tell the sound man not to listen to me. So these people would be all booking me for the healing that was happening during my concerts. But when I got there, the sound man would not listen to me. So I couldn't hear the pianist. She couldn't hear me, and we were shut down. I couldn't play a note. And he would just take over every time. And so then I just stopped going on the road. And he was so angry because that's why he married me. And so then he decided to take matters into his own hands to make a living, and he went into drugs, meth. And he ruined everything. He took everything I had because it was all mine. It was my house and my car and everything. And I ended up having to flee once again. And I went to Oregon with nothing. And then that is a whole nother story, how God picked me up in his arms and took care of me through an organization called Love Inc. Love in the Name of Christ. I just want to give them an honor shout out right now, because they adopted me. I was able to get a house miraculously, and they called me every day, and they said, "What do you need today, Theresa?" And I would say, "Well, I could use some towels." Instead of giving me used towels, they would go buy brand new towels. And then I would say, "Oh, I could use some sheets." And they would go buy brand new sheets and bring them to me. And I was like, what is this? This is just hard to believe that they would do this to a total stranger. They tuned my piano, and they got me a bike because I had no car. And then they got me a car, and they said, "Theresa, we never do this." And then they finally told me, "We knew who you were. We have your CDs." And so they took care of me in the desert, so to speak, And I wrote a screenplay called The Oregonian Resuscitation, because total strangers paid my bills. I would go to energy assistance and try to fill out the paperwork because I didn't have a job. I couldn't pay for my energy assistance. And I would tell her my story, and I would say, "But I know everything's going to be all right." And she reached across the table and she took my hand and she goes, "I wish I had faith like you." And I said, "You can." She goes, "No, because he doesn't like me." I goes, "Yes, he does." And then when we ended, she said, "Can I have a hug?" And I hugged her. And she said, "You've really helped me today." And after that, I got my brand new car, and it wasn't brand new, but I mean, to me it was. I pulled in my driveway, and they said, "Theresa, you have to do the registration. You have to have that $89 to do the registration." And I just did it by faith. And then when I pulled in the driveway, I said, "I don't have rent." And just that moment in the car, I said, "Okay, God, I believe if you got me the car, you're going to pay the rent too." I walked in the door and the phone rang, and it was the mobile home park. And they said, "Theresa, somebody just paid your rent." I said, and no one knew I needed help. I said, "Who?" She said, "The energy assistance lady." That's what I'm talking about. When you say you don't have this, you don't have that, and you're a victim, and you're poor and all of this, there's always a way of escape. But you have to believe. You have to choose to believe. And then God will open the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing you can't contain. And I'm here as evidence of that. It is possible for everybody. But you can't sit around and complain and look down because the matrix has you. Then you're stuck in the matrix. You have to look up if you want any help. And believe, not beg him, believe, and thank him for it. All right, that's a side note. That was for free. Okay. All right, so that whole story is such a long story, and I've told it on my treks, and you'll find that story in many of the treks in a different way. And I teach how to do miracles. I teach how to come out of the matrix. I just did that lesson, and but I just don't want to repeat myself because so many of you have heard the stories. So anyway, I just want to say during that world tour that I did all over the world, I was traumatized. I was traveling as a woman alone, and almost everywhere I went, I went through huge abuse. If you knew what I had been through, it would make your hair curl. You would be shocked. You would not even believe that it could happen. It was that bad. And then the miracles that revived me and resuscitated me. I saw, that it was so bad. I was almost fetal position I'm going to just say it, come out, say it, in Australia. And my face, the stress was so bad that my face, I had boils all over my face, and I'm supposed to play the flute. right? I'm supposed to play the flute with these horrible boils. And one of my friends that lived in Australia came to the concert ahead of time and to say hi to me. And she looked at me and she went, "Oh, honey. Oh, honey." And she was just like, "Oh my gosh, it's so bad." And I was in such trauma that I did not know how I could go out there and do this concert. And I heard the Lord say, "Just sing to me. Forget them. Sing to me." And I went out there and I had my eyes closed and I'm clutching the microphone. And I looked up in the balcony and there were orbs everywhere, blue and pink and purple orbs. And it was like heaven. The angelic host had come to support me. And then I heard the Lord speak to me in Irish accent. And he said, "We got you covered." And he wanted to make me laugh, right? And so then I was free and I started to sing and I didn't care how bad my face looked anymore and how much danger I might be in by those people, that attacked me. So just to let you know a little taste of what I went through over there in many different countries. All right. So then after a while, I was just traumatized on the road and just wiped out. And I just thought, I'm so done. I hate travel. I don't ever want to go back on the road ever again. I'm just going to do something else. And so I went back to school for art and I started downloading the ability to do art. I could see the lines on the page before I drew them. Oh, the hair would stand up on my arms because it was so exciting to be able to download anything. I tell people in one of the tracks that, I was the last chair flute player in every band I was ever in. I was horrible. And I downloaded the ability to play the flute. I was rejected as a singer. And I asked the Lord, and in one moment, he downloaded into me what I needed to do to change that. And so then the art and then the therapies, and I was just loving life and being reborn. And so I didn't care that I wasn't on the road anymore. I was just enjoying my life. And I did that for 14 years. And as I was doing therapy in California, you all know what the cabal did. They used those lasers, those beams to set California on fire over and over and over. And I was in the middle of all those fires. So I was in this mountain town. It was just the most beautiful place. I loved it. And there a fire began, but I decided I'm going to stay. Nothing can touch me. I'm invincible and I'm just going to pray it through. And then the smoke began to get really bad and I started to wonder what I should do. And a friend texted me and she said, "Get out, you're surrounded." And then, I panicked and I started packing, and I had inherited the essential oils of the #1 plant breeder in the world. And I had vats of oil in my trunk as I drove through 2 walls of fire on either side of me. But before I left, I saw a vision of the eye of the storm and that I was in it. I was in the eye and that I was surrounded. And when they did the fire map afterwards, it was exactly what I saw. I was in the eye of the storm and the fires went all around me, but they couldn't touch me. All right. So anyway, during that time, God spoke to me and he said, "Remember Red Dawn." And as I'm looking at these raging fires, I still have the pictures of this red, the mountains were just ablaze and it wasn't possible. I knew it as I saw all the little fires all over the mountains. When it first started, I thought, this is not possible. They did this. And the firemen agreed with me. And the Lord said, "Remember Red Dawn." And it was like he was telling me something's coming. And I said, I'm ready to fight, because I love that movie and I've watched it over and over. And I said, I want to fight, because, it happened in California in the movie, right? And I was like, I'm here, I'm going to fight. And he said, no, I want you to get out. And I said, why? And he said, because the medic does not serve on the front lines. And he never called me that before. And I said, okay, well, where do I go? And he told me Texas. And I did not want to come. I did not want to come to Texas. But when I got here, I fell in love with Texas. The respect, the beauty of the people. I mean, such honor. There's such honor here. I remember the first cowboy, he must have been in his 80s, that came out of a gas station as I was walking in, and he had his cowboy hat on, and he went, ma'am. And I was like, blah, 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 blah. And that's the way it was it was like going back in time and coming to a more sane place. And in the end, the reason he brought me here was twofold. Number one, I didn't have to wear a mask, because I knew, and he knew, that I would not survive what happened in California. That was communism. And with my history of abuse, there's no way they were going to force me to put a mask on. There was no way they were going to tell me that I had to have a vaccine. I wasn't going to live in communism. And I got to come into a womb of safety in this little tiny town. And I wore my signs around my neck, medical exemption for the state and the city, and I would show them, and I got along just fine. And I realized, being the medic, I had to be protected so that I could serve those who were going through that, who were being forced to wear a mask. And that mask was causing bacterial pneumonia for people and making them sick. And they knew that that's what would happen. And I was not going to violate my conscience. I would not do it. And so I was able to serve like a Florence Nightingale, spiritually, emotionally. And I would send, if there was, one of my followers was elderly and was deathly ill, I would send supplements. I would give her the protocol and send her to the right people, people to help her. And I would just make sure everybody was okay. And I lost a lot of sleep because I didn't want to lose anybody. And I didn't lose anybody. The people that were following me, I made sure they stayed alive. And so then I understood why I was here. But I need to back up to the dream that went with his message to tell me to leave. So in 2019, he gave me a 3-part epic dream, and you were in it. Okay, so that dream, I saw everything. I saw COVID. I didn't know what it was, but I saw that. I saw the political war and the war between the truthers, the patriots. And then I saw the end of the story, the happy ending. So the beginning was Red Dawn. It was this town, and the Texans were walking in fear in the town because, they're being watched. And I was just horrified that it could happen in the home of the free, the brave, the land of the free, the home of the brave. Give me liberty, give me death. I just didn't think they would ever agree to it. But we were tricked, right? We were tricked. And so that was the first part. And then my escort, which I believe was Jesus, took me from that scene to the next scene. And that was the back room of a saloon in this town. And I saw the real Civil War generals arguing over the war. And they had a pool table with salt and pepper shakers on it. And they were like in hiding. And they were trying to figure out how to maneuver this war and how to get through, how to find the way out of this. And they were frantic. And I was like, I looked at Jesus and I go, why am I here? I don't understand. And he did not answer me. He just wanted me to see it, the future. I always thought it was political, but I really think it's the truthers. And maybe I can help. Maybe I can be some glue, because I love everybody. And then the last scene. I saw Space Force before Space Force came into being. And isn't today the 4th birthday of Space Force? Wow. So I was at my ranch that I am about to receive after the happy day. And I was sitting in an Adirondack chair around a fire at night across from a friend. And we're looking at the magnificence of the stars. And all of a sudden, the stars formed 2 armies. And it was the right wing and the left wing. And the right wing was organized in the shape of a geese formation. And the point man was President Trump, and he had a long musket. And he would reload that thing and shoot. And the whole first flank of the left wing would go up in smoke. And he just kept doing it and going forward. And they were retreating and they were losing. And the abominable snowman was behind the army like he was the leader, but he was terrified and kept looking over his shoulder, knowing he was losing, and he was running for his life. And he was about, I'm going to say 10, 11 foot tall. And I want to make sure I don't forget to tell who the abominable snowman is at the end. Sometimes I forget that point, but, and then the whole thing dissipated. And then I was like going to speak to my friend, and it reloaded. The exact same scene reloaded, and then it finished again. And I went, oh my gosh, will you come and sit in my seat and see if you see what I see? She did, and she saw it. So that was 3 times. That means it's firmly established that it will happen, right? And so when I woke up, I said to God, what's up with the abominable snowman? And he said, it's the abomination of the men who snow the people. And it had to do with their leader, Obama. And so, and that's, of course, what we went through, right? And we are now at the end game. We are, I mean, it's more than, there's no more game, actually. We're at the finish line. We are coming in to home plate at this very moment. And I do want to give you an update. And I don't know if I should do it now. I think I should. It is still an any moment basis. But I want to deliver a message from the top. And this is above. This is the commander-in-chief of the armies of the host of heaven, who is asking me to deliver this message. I'm so sorry that you've had to wait so long. And I validate your pain. I validate your suffering. It is real. It moves me. When you cry, I cry. I understand your pain, and I don't fault you for your tears at all. But if you knew why the pace has had to be this slow, you would cry yourself to sleep. You would fall to your knees in tears, because you would finally understand what is at stake. It is beyond, and I can't even say it. I can't tell. I'm not supposed to say it because it is so dangerous. If I said certain words, it would be damaging. I just want to tell you, he would never withhold from you anything that you needed. Never. But this whole weight has not been in vain. And if you can go back to my last trek, you will find out what he really wanted. He didn't want us to sit around and wait to go to a bank. He didn't want us to sit around and wait for a med bed. He wanted to be everything to us because he has it. He is it. Everything we need, he is it. He doesn't have it. He is it. And he craves you so much. He has waited all his life, eons and eons, to have you come to him, to become his, in actuality, his offspring, to operate like he does. And he's waiting for you to just ask, because he already said yes. He would never withhold and hurt you like this on purpose. He provided you another way of escape, like he has for me. I can make something out of nothing. I can download anything I need because I looked up. That's all I did, because I couldn't do anything else. I had nowhere to turn. I could not turn to the government. I could not turn to any agency for help. He lined up the people for me like he was a personal assistant, is like this one. Because I looked to him, all those wonderful things happened to me. He saved me out of every single tragedy and trauma that I went through. I haven't even told you the half of it. I've only given you a taste of some of the worst parts of it. But I made it through, and I don't smell like smoke. You know what I mean? I don't have the scent of bitterness on me. Why? Because I found him. He is my life, my breath, my everything. I don't have to lack for anything, not anything, because the storehouse of heaven is full of everything you need. And that's why I have been teaching how to download out of the matrix, come out of the matrix and download from the real world anything you need. I've been doing it since, 2015 maybe. And tonight he asked me if I would show you the way. I can show you the door, but you're the one that has to open it. And you know how painful it is for him that he's trying to get your attention to show you that he has everything you need right now, that you don't have to wait for an earthly experience? He grieves that. And I have this ability, I can feel what he feels for people. And I feel it. It's like, I want to convince you that you can have it now. You can download anything you need right now. And then you get the supreme experience of becoming superhuman. The offspring of God. You are Captain Marvel. You are made out of light. You have no idea who you are. You have no idea what you've been given and what you're capable of. But he wants you to have it so bad. So the wait is twofold. Because once we get through that bank appointment, you think you're actually going to want to experience the spirit realm? When you get comfortable in life, you don't need him. You feel you don't need to search, because it's only those who search with all their heart that find. Only those who knock, the door is opened. Now is the chance. Now is the chance to go up, to learn this amazing experience. And I described it. Was it last night? The trek was last night. I described it in detail, what it feels like to have the Creator envelop you. It's exquisite. It's a rush like I've never felt in my entire life. It is ecstasy. I wouldn't trade it for anything. All the money in the world, all the med beds in the world. And I know how to get in him as the highest form of medbed. Get inside him, picture it, and he comes inside me, and I come inside him, and I am surrounded by the highest God frequency that is possible. And I can heal anything inside of him. So, are you ready to go? I'm going to take you on a trip right now. I want to convince you to free your mind. Let it all go. It's not logic that's going to save you. It's not human reasoning. And everybody has this, it gets so old, this human reasoning as to what needs to happen right now. And that's in the saloon behind the, in the pool room. That's what was going on. Well, they should do this and that, and if they don't, blah, blah. That's human reasoning. And like I said, if you only knew the real story that is happening behind the scenes at this very moment, you would weep. You would convulse with sobs, and you would be sobered into understanding that they have been between a rock and a hard place. They are hearing your cries, believe me. They are hearing your cries, and they care. We've got to get help to the people. I've heard them say that over and over. We want this to be the best Christmas they've ever had. They said that last year. But you don't want to be angry that they could not accomplish it, because they could not. They could not. I was there. I heard why. And like I said, if you knew, you might go to God and say, okay, I'm tired. I'm so weary. Please give me grace to finish this race. He will. He'll pick you up in his arms. He'll meet your needs. He'll take care of you and carry you over the threshold into the new day. He will do that for you. He wants to. He won't reprimand you because he knows you didn't know. But when we get to the other side and you find out, you're going to go, oh my gosh, God, forgive me. So, but he cares about you right now. And so I have been sent as a spiritual medic to stop the bleeding. May I? I don't blame you for crying out in pain, and he doesn't blame you either. But there's a better way than despair, a higher road. There's 2 doors you can choose from. The low road of low frequency, and you're probably tired of hearing that, but despair, they will hurt your body, those emotions. That's what I do for a living. I can tell you what they will do to your body. You're hurting yourself and slowing us down from the finish line, actually. If you choose the high road, you will never regret it. You can go to the party now. It's a party in your honor. Your heavenly Father adores you, and he is preparing a feast for you, and I am here to escort you to the feast right now. Okay? You have to become as a little child or you can't go. Right? So if you have essential oil, put a little on your hands. Inhale, 3 big inhales. All right? Close your eyes, get comfortable, get some Kleenex. And we're going to go up. And I am going to put 963 hertz music in one ear, because it's going to facilitate my seeing into the real world and describing to you what is there. All right? I wish we could play music, but I guess it just doesn't quite work sometimes for the whole group, you know. All right. All right, are you ready? So you have just inhaled the essential oil that has gone directly to your limbic part of your brain, and that is the seat of the emotions. So when we did that, you corralled the carnal mind, the earthly mind. You got a hold of it and you said, look it, you're going to follow the spirit tonight into the real world. It's not going to fight you now. Somebody's calling me. I should have put it on airplane mode. Let me do that because I don't want that to happen again. Okay. There. All right. All right. All right, here we go. Here we go. Oh, because I put it in airplane mode, I can't get the music. Okay, so I have to just put up with it, I guess. All right, here we go. Technology is about to get easier, right? I don't know what's happening. It's not wanting to come on. I've never had this problem before. Makes me wonder if something isn't happening. I want to tell you, there are many people who know what's going on right now and what the schedule is. And it's very likely that it could happen on Friday, which is my birthday. And I have been seeing 12:22 on the clock several times a day for 20 years or so. And I always thought it was God saying, I celebrate your birthday every day. But now I'm thinking it might just be the happy day. I can't get it. It's just not coming. I'm going to try one more time. What's that? Oh, here it is. Oh, yay. Okay. Okay. Take a deep breath. All right, I want you to picture that we're going together as a group. And we are going to lift off from the earth right now. Picture it, just picture it. We're going up and you're feeling weightless. And you're going up and you begin to feel the most amazing, pleasant breeze. It's the perfect temperature and it is blowing your hair. And you suddenly realize that you have lost your socks and shoes. And it feels so good. It feels free. And we keep going higher and higher. And you feel so free that you just begin to kind of dance, slow motion, in the air. And you look at everybody and nobody's even looking at anybody because they are just in another realm of such deep peace. You might even put your hand on your belly right now and the back of your other hand on your spine if you can. That's going to actually facilitate the peace, all right? And we get up and we see the heavens, the stars, the beauty is exquisite. It's beyond description. And we're all like laughing and crying but tears of joy and giggling. It's just so invigorating. And we're enjoying every moment of this journey. And suddenly we began to descend down onto another world. And when we land on the grass of that world, it does not bend and flatten beneath our feet. It's alive, and you can feel it tickling the bottom of your feet, and it feels so good. And the first object that greets you is a bunch of giant flowers. They are all different colors, like colors you haven't seen ever. Intense beauty and intricate design. And you walk over to them because they are drawing you over there. And instead of these flowers having to be crushed to give you their oil, they actually give it voluntarily and they exude it like a diffuser. And it wafts up into your nostrils and you immediately feel something happening in your body. There are changes taking place immediately. Healing, you can feel it. Something is changing in your body right now, and only you know what that is because the oil knows where to go. And you're so engrossed in this aroma and this beauty of these flowers that you don't even realize that there's anything else to see. And then finally, you just happen to glance to your right and you see a river. And you want to go and experience that. And you walk over and you think you're going to kneel down and cup some of that living water and drink it. But the river knows what you're thinking, and the river spouts a spring for you to drink from, like it's alive too. And you drink that water, and that water goes into your body, and it goes into every cell and begins to make every cell come alive with life, with new life, with resurrection life, bringing you back to your original DNA. And you almost want to cry, but you're too happy, and you think, well, if it can do that to my insides, I should jump in because it will change my skin. It will, what else can it do? So you want to jump in. So you jump in. And when you get in that water, the sea life celebrates you, and they begin to swim with you and swim around you and leap over your body and play with you, and you are laughing and they are laughing, and they demonstrate for you what is possible, and they jump up out of the water and they do swirls and they come back down and they want you to follow, and you do it. You jump up and you twirl and you jump and you come back down, and you are having the time of your life. And that you are there, that you have finally awakened to the real world where anything is possible. You feel so young. You feel so much energy pulsing through your veins. And you wonder, what else is there in this new world to experience? And so you come up out of the water and you realize that your clothes are not wet, they're dry. Your hair is dry. And you look up and there's this tree. The trees for the healing of the nations are ready to give you whatever it is you need. And you reach up and you take the fruit. It's a fruit you've never seen before. And you take a bite, and the flavor is something that you can't even describe because you've never had anything like it. But it's like an explosion of life, of joy, of wonderland. And as you swallow, you can feel it going down and bringing healing all the way into your stomach. And when it hits your stomach, this sense of peace just takes over the stomach lining, and the waters and the liquids in your stomach have become like golden oil and warm. And you feel clean on the inside. And then it goes into all the organs, and you can see them lighting up with new life, coming alive again, becoming young and pink again. And you go and you take some more fruit, and that it happens again in a different area of the body. And you realize you have no pain, no achiness, and you are agile. No stiffness. And whatever limbs you might have been missing you have them again. And you just know that your gallbladder is back in there. Whatever they took out is back. It's yours. It belongs to you. And he said he would restore the years that all the worms have taken from you, the ravaging, the theft. You're getting everything back. And then you suddenly hear the sound of it's like swishing. And it's like mighty. And you look to your right, and there is a squadron of huge angels, and they are coming down, and they are landing in formation, 2 lines of angels, and they all look to their left and look at you. And you're stunned that they're looking at you, like, why are you looking at me? And the looks on their faces is honor and respect, because they have known who you are for a long time. You are the chosen ones. Wolvie was right. You are the chosen ones, the chosen generation who would come to this place. It was reserved for you. You were handpicked to go on this journey. And they are so excited. It's almost like you can see the joy beating in their chest that this has finally happened. They have waited a long time for you. Your angels are have been bored. They have been waiting for you to acknowledge them. They want to work for you. They want to work with you. They know who you are. They know that you are superhuman. And they're hoping that you will put them to work right now. They are ready and dressed for battle. They will do your bidding. They will do whatever you need them to do. I recently met my angel for the first time, and he was so happy to see me. He was giggling. And then all of a sudden, you realize that there is not a red carpet, but a golden glass that is in between the angel's feet. I mean, it's like the runner in between the two rows of angels. And the angels turn from you and they look the other direction down at the end of the line. And it's Jesus. And he has come to greet you into his kingdom where he is the king. And you see him and you can't even believe that it's really him. He's real. He was not a mistake. He is God. He is the real God. And you want to run to him, but you feel like your legs won't move. You're frozen. And he knows it, but he cannot wait to get you in his arms. And he begins to walk, and he walks faster and faster. And finally he runs at his top speed and he grabs a hold of you. And he is crying, and though his tears are falling on your face, and you are taken back. You're like, I didn't know you loved me that much. I didn't know. I thought it was a story. And he's laughing. He's going, no, it's true. And he begins to dance with you in midair and spin with you, and you're going up into the air. And then you finally descend very gently. And he brings you down so tenderly to your feet. And the look coming through his eyes is so full of love. His eyes are huge, and they're like a pool of love, liquid love coming through them. And it is healing your heart. Just one glance is all it took, and he is healing your heart from the pain of your life. And you see this flash of the pain of your life, and you realize it becomes nothing. It dissipates, like he extracts your pain all in one look. And he says, well done. You made it, and I knew you would. I know it. Because I put within you the ability to make it. And you're just, tears are streaming down your face. And he's wiping the tears away. And he takes your hand and he escorts you like a groom down this glassy golden runway. And you get to the end, and there is a table. A very long, beautiful, luxurious table with the finest linen and crystal glasses and the finest china. And he had set it himself, because this is his feast. This is his supper that he has prepared for you, and he has waited all these years to bring you home. You don't have to die to go home. You don't have to die to be with him. You can be with him in the real world right now. And so he pulls out your chair, and you are in the seat of honor at the head of the table. And you just can hardly grasp that all of this is for you. Me? I thought I failed the test. I cried too much. I got angry. And he's going, oh, no. You stood the test. You're still standing, and that is the proof that you did it. You did win. You didn't go back. You stayed. You won. That's all that counts. You stayed. You won. He doesn't see the rest because he sees with eyes of love, not judgment. So you sit down and you look across from you and down the table and you see the patriarchs. You see the great cloud of witnesses that have been waiting for you with great anticipation. And they are so honored by your presence. They are like, it's her. It's him. Wow. Because the patriarchs longed to look into your day, but it was reserved for you alone. And they are just awed at your presence, that you survived the worst onslaught in the history of mankind. You survived it. They couldn't kill you. They tried every way imaginable, but they couldn't do it because you're invincible. You look down and all you see is the dust and the damage and the scars, but you didn't know that those scars are the stripes of a general. And they see that. And you look down now and you realize you're glowing. You realize you are being honored because you believed. And he begins to serve the food and you realize it's your favorite foods. But you taste it and it's so far above the earthly taste buds that it's a party in your mouth. And it brings tears to your eyes because you have never experienced anything like this before. And then the lover of your soul hands you the wine that he poured, that he made, the new wine in the new world. And he asks you to drink of it. And you drink of it. And it removes any last memory of the crushing that you went through, and you realize he made that wine out of your pain, out of the aroma, the bouquet of your suffering. It came up into the heavenlies. And he made a special wine in commemoration and honor of your suffering. And you realize it is a medal of honor. You're being given a medal of honor. Udina ananina haikina uninina nea. Oh, it's gonna be alright now. He has you in his arms. It's gonna be alright now. The past is gone. The new has come. It's gonna be alright. welcome home. Welcome to the new world. You have just tasted of what is coming ahead of the others. VIP seating. Now you get an idea of what is coming in the real world. And we're just a breath away. And you can go there anytime you need to, anytime you want to, before the EBS. Who needs the EBS? When you have a direct line to the Commander-in-Chief of the armies of heaven, you have an inside to the intel. Firsthand, he is the one in charge of this whole thing. He is the one with the schedule. He loves you. He has everything for you. Your inheritance has already been granted to you right now. And he's going to take you to see it right now. So he takes your hand to take you to the storehouse, to your personal bank account. And you walk up this gloriously beautiful green hill. And you get there, and it's this ancient building, beautiful architecture. And it has these great doors that look like it would take so much strength to open them, but they see you. The doors open at their own accord because you are the one that has permission to enter. And you walk inside, and there's every room imaginable full of everything you ever needed. And some of them are full of prayers that you prayed, but you got discouraged and you cast off your hope and they didn't get delivered. They were right at your door and they had to go back because it only comes through faith. And you realize he answered every time you called, but you gave up too soon. But they had a date on them. They were gift wrapped and they had a date on them. And they're still waiting for you. They're still there. He wouldn't have thrown them away. He wouldn't have gotten rid of them. He saved everything. And you walk in there and you see this great, beautiful crystal bottle. And it's huge and it goes way up to the ceiling. Cathedral ceiling, like in Europe. And it's full of this sparkling liquid. And you say, what is that? And he says, those are your tears. I saved every single one and I put them in my bottle because they were precious to me. And I mixed them with mine because every time you cried, I cried and I put them in there. And you go in the room and you see everything you needed is there. And he said, you can take it anytime you need it. This is always open for you. You can download it right from your bed in the nighttime. Call out to me and I've already answered you before you called. And you go down the hallway. And you see this building, it looks like a bank, but it's so elaborate, so beautiful. It's made out of gold. But it's like fat. It's bulging. It's just bulging. And the windows look like they're going to break. And you say, why does that look like that? And he said, because you haven't downloaded. And it's your inheritance. It's been waiting and it's been accumulating. We've been storing for you. You can have it anytime you need it. And he looks at you, tilts his head, and you look in his eyes, and there's total acceptance, unconditional love. And he is so happy that you finally found him and you finally found everything that he had prepared for you before you were ever born. And he said, please don't forget me. Please come often, because I miss you. I love you. I want to enter into you, and you enter into me. I want to fill you full of my life. I want us to become one, so close that we're one. I have craved that relationship since before you were born, and now I'm asking for your hand. Will you have me? Will you allow me to be your partner so that we can co-create together in this union, you and I? I will fill you full of my life, and that life will mix with your DNA, and you will become pregnant with destiny. And what comes forth out of your life in this new world will be something the world has never seen before. There will be no duplicates, because there is only your DNA is unique. And the thing that happens when you mix with his is it becomes supernatural. And whatever the dreams you had growing up, graduating out of college, those dreams that you had that you thought died because somebody slandered you, somebody embezzled, somebody took everything from you, they robbed from you, and those dreams fell to the ground, and you got sick and you got old and you said, it's too late now. Oh, well, that's my life. No. You look down and you see that those dreams only germinated in the ground, and they are now coming back to life. And you see the green poking up out of the ground, and they are waiting for you to harvest them. Now, right now. And those dreams are going to be much higher now. If you had fulfilled them before, they would have been earthly, see? But because they went into the ground and germinated, they came back to life in a supernatural form. And now, if you mix with his seed, it's going to be supernatural what comes out of you. You are a miracle worker. You are now a miracle worker. You will do supernaturally whatever it is in your heart that you long to do. He's not going to tell you what you have to do. His will is already in you. You know what it is. Your spirit already knows. It's what you love. And so as you take one step into that new world, you believe that anything is possible, and it is possible. And you will create the most beautiful buildings. You will create the most incredible art that is interactive and beyond sci-fi. People will be healed just by your art, just by the look on your face, just by the love coming through your eyes. And the normies will go, I don't know who you are or what you are, but I think you have something for me. And you're like, yeah, I do. And you're going to lead them into the real world and tell them the old has passed, but the old was diseased. It was vile. You don't want that, honey. Don't regret that, losing that. I have a new foundation for your feet to stand on. Let me show you how to fly. I'm going to teach you to do the things that can't be done in the matrix. But anything is possible in this world. And you will save many from death because you tasted of the real world first. You must first be a partaker. That's what this wait has been about. If you've just been waiting and angry, you missed it. You're going to get to the other side, get through the bank, and you will still feel empty, and you will not be supernatural because you didn't learn what you're supposed to during this time. This is your chance to choose the high road, to learn how to lead others into the promised land. I believe in you. I believe that many of you are going to learn it. You're going to find it. You're going to be changed. And many of you are going to be healed tonight because you now know that you can, that He already said yes. You never have to beg for healing. He paid for it. He paid the highest price that could ever be paid. And so for then you to think, for you to think that God doesn't heal everybody, He's like, that's such an insult. I already did. What else do you want me to do? You can heal the sick. You can raise the dead just by believing it. Just by letting the Holy of Holies enter you and operate through you. Whatever you do, doesn't matter what it is. It can be glorious, joyful. Your life is about to become an eternal party in a dance of life when you learn that all you have to do is become a little child. One of the verses that I shaped my life on was, "He that thinks he knows anything knows nothing yet as he ought to know." And so that way, God could blow my mind over and over and over because I had no box for Him. He was free to show me anything. And so the key is, every night when you go to bed, you dream, you picture, you imagine the real world and you in it. What you will do in detail, like a movie, picture it. And it will become a reality right before your eyes. Ask Him to speak to you. Ask Him to tell you what He thinks of you. If there's something in the world you're upset about right now, ask Him about it. Tell me when we're going. How can we fix this, Jesus? Will you give me inventions? He's going, I thought you'd never ask. And He will give you anything you ask. His strength is made perfect in your weakness. So why would you want to be anything but a weak thing? I like it. I like being a weak thing. Because you can't get any better than perfect. So all I have to do is let Him into my life, and I can do anything. He will open doors for you. You don't have to knock them down. They are waiting for you, those doors. It just happens. You just dance your life away and it just happens. I went over to South Korea and I did a concert for 5,000 screaming teenagers. And afterwards, a security guard came up to me and said, "The mayor of Seoul would like you to do a personal song for him in private." So I took my Irish harp and I went into a room with he and my friends, and I put the little harp in his lap and I knelt down and I began to play. I always just trust what comes out of me. I just let him speak through me. I don't know what I'm going to say. I just start to sing. And I sang that he would become the president of South Korea. I said that he would have the wisdom of Solomon and that other countries would come to him for advice. And when I finished, I never doubt what comes out of me because he told me not to. And the mayor, Myung-Sung-bak, wanted a picture with me, and he said, I want you to be my friend. And when I left the room, it hit me what I had just done. And I was like, what have I just done? And I was like weak-kneed. And so I asked the Koreans, what do you think about Myung-Sung-bak becoming the president of South Korea? And they laughed me to scorn. They mocked me. Never. He is not qualified. A year later, he became the president of South Korea. I believe God will tell me his secrets. I believe he'll tell me what the enemy is saying in closed doors, behind closed doors. So after 9/11, I asked him to tell me who was doing anthrax. I went to sleep asking. He spoke to me in a visitation and while I was still asleep, and he said, Timothy Gardner. Timothy Gardner, repeat after me. And I did. And he said, again, repeat after me so I wouldn't lose it. And then he grabbed hold of my arm at 5 a.m. and he jerked me awake. He said, wake up, go to the computer. I went to the computer and I typed in Timothy Gardner. And up popped a biomedical lab from Boston. And I went, oh my gosh. And I didn't understand it, but I knew that that's what could happen in a place like that. I got to the bottom of the page and it said, if you want to see my personal page, click here. I clicked there, went to his personal page, and he's standing there like a jock, with no shirt on and jeans, and he just thinks he's cool, And the text said, I like cake. I like chocolate cake. I like cake with, some people like cake with lots of flour, but I like cake with lots of sugar because everyone knows the more sugar, the hotter it bakes in the oven until it becomes a bomb from hell. And I went, that's a code. And, we weren't into decoding at that time. There was no FCB to help me with the decode. But I knew it was a code. And I said, okay, God, there was $1 million reward too. And I said, so I need an FBI agent. I thought the FBI was good at the time, right? Yeah, we've been brainwashed by the movies. And so I talked to a friend of mine and she said, I have a friend who has dreams. She has a neighbor who is an FBI agent and she feeds her dreams to the agent and they act on her dreams. I'll ask her if she'll talk to you. And she did. And she talked to her neighbor and he said, have her email us the dream. I did. That website came down and anthrax stopped. But they did not give me my $1 million. And that is still due me. Because if I got that $1 million, I would give it to you to help stop the bleeding. And that is what I will do when it comes, because I am requiring it, because they promised. But they were complicit. Right? And so, don't be surprised if you get a sudden blessing that you were not expecting. Or maybe you were. Maybe you went to bed every night and said, God, I thank you for lost money, stolen money, forgotten money, money in the mail, money in the email. And then it shows up. like it did for me 4 times. Knock at the door. FedEx. It's got an envelope. Inside it says $50,000. No receipt necessary. Use as needed. 6 months later, knock at the door. FedEx. Another envelope. $100,000. No receipt necessary. Use as needed. 6 months later, $50,000. And it happened at least 4 times. You see, I never did know who it was. But that person saved my life. They helped me reinvent myself, go to school, download all these therapies, go to massage school, and come out on the other side to be ready to help the world. Anything can happen at any time through any means. And you know, the name of my organization for 30 some years was Somebody Cares. But then a larger organization gave us a cease and desist order, and we had to let go of the name that we had all those years. And my heart was absolutely crushed. But the Lord said, no, you're getting a new name, and it fits you much, much better for the new day. Someone believes in you. And so I was comforted by that new name, but I was also sad because we never got another knock at the door with a FedEx envelope. And I thought they lost us because we lost our name, we lost our email, we lost everything. We had to start over. And I thought it's probably giving to the other Somebody Cares now. And I really tried hard to figure out who it was. And finally, in prayer one day, the Lord said, I'm going to tell you who it was. I said, who was it? And I was waiting for a name because he gives me full names so often. He said, it was me. It was always me. Because I can move anyone at any time to bring you whatever you need. And I want to. And he'll do it for you too. So, you know, for the last 3 years, I didn't know what else to do but comfort the hearts of the people on Facebook. I call them my sweeties, my Facebook sweeties. And so I gave them everything I had, all the things that I have learned and downloaded. I gave them everything. How to become superhuman, how to heal everything that issue that you have. I should be dead now 4 times probably. But I can't be killed. It's not possible. In all the ways that God rescued me, I gave to that group. And now all of those classes and those recordings are available for you. God was thinking about you. All that time I was teaching that small class of 75 people. We did ascensions all the time. And then, you know, I had been in the cave, I call it, in obscurity for 14 years, and watching all of the patriots and the conversations and the downloads or the decoding and everything, finally got to a point where I thought, I think it's time for me to come on the scene. I don't see very much of what I can offer, and I think it's my time. But I couldn't. Nobody would let me in. They wouldn't. I was a no name, right? I was a weak thing, and so I thought, well, I just need to get prepared. And so my friend Mark Abrahams helped me design the website to prepare for those who would be in despair at this time. callusforhelp.live. And on that website, is an encouraging message to talk people out of committing suicide and to talk people out of despair. Talk them out of depression. Talk them out of the lie that they have believed since childhood that you're not enough. It's all there. And then there is a self-help, how to breathe, how to stop a panic attack in 5 minutes. That's my specialty. Freedom from anxiety. I did a teaching on it. It's ready for you so that you not only can help yourself, but that you can get ready to help everyone around you. You're going to need your tools. I have the tools. They're ready for you. I have a whole training on preparation for helping those around you. And then I have the scientifically based music that God birthed through me back in 2012 at 55 beats per minute, which lowers the heart rate and the blood pressure, bringing the brain into theta state, the perfect state to throw off negative emotions and heal the body. And it can stop a panic attack in less than 5 minutes. You begin to breathe. And I'm very seriously thinking of giving it away. If I give it to this channel, then you will have it. Well, no, we came to the conclusion that you already have it. So if you go to the website, it's on there. That'll make it so easy. It's on there for free. So you have to get used to that, study that website so that when the time comes, you know how to stop a panic attack for them. You know what music to give to them. You know what to play. You've memorized. Call us for help.live. And you've helped yourself in advance by training yourself and by being able to stop yourself from going down in the elevator of despair. God's timing is always perfect. And after the fact, you will know why. And it will make perfect sense. I promise you. It's going to be all right. You're going to make it. And I know some of your situations are desperate, life and death situations. But look up and get what he has for you because he wants to. He said yes already. Picture it. Every night when you go to sleep, you picture what you want to happen, the resolve, the loved one that you want to live. Picture them being alive and happy. And speak life into them. Don't tell someone they're dying. Don't say that. That's coming out of your mouth, and words have the power of life or death. There's no gray. When you say words, you create, just like your daddy. You wear clothing that says life, joy. And you speak that over your children, over your friends, your family, your loved ones that are sick. You talk to your body parts. You put your hand on your body parts and you say, gallbladder, you don't have to go. You don't have to be taken out. That was organ harvesting. That's all that was. They lied to you. My doctor healed my gallbladder in 3 weeks. They just need a vacation, he said. We've been indoctrinated in so many ways. So open your mind to a different way of thinking on everything. There are no limits for you, not even right now. You are not a victim. You're not poor. You're not poor. I was borrowing toilet paper. Don't tell me that your situation is worse. No. But he showed me the way out, and I taught it in my class. Anything is possible if you only believe. That's all he asks. You just look up, even in your fear and your doubt, just look up and say, okay, I'm willing. I'm willing. It's a choice. That's all it is, a choice. But please, choose life. Choose life. It's so much more fun, I promise. And then when you least expect it, a suddenly is going to occur that will make your head spin and you'll be at the bank. But you'll be so glad you learned who you really were, who loves you, what you're capable of beforehand, so that you can go equipped. You got to reset yourself before you reset the world. All righty then. Take it away, Tamara.
Wow. That was amazing. Thank you so much for trying to explain everything to everybody to a level that they can understand at what level we are at today. And thank you very much for sharing your website. I hope that helps many, many people, because God knows we need that right now. And are you still willing to go 30 minutes or for
Sure.
a Q&A? Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't know how much time you had left.
I didn't even, did I really talk 2 hours?
Yes.
Oh, gosh. Okay,
But
well, the long-winded trustee.
well, that's okay, because we have many questions on the backboard. If I have a couple people that are willing to read questions, and I think Shelley said she was going to read some.
Just a few. Just a few. Yeah.
Okay.
She's got about 3, I think.
Okay, does she want to go ahead and
Go ahead.
ask?
Okay. The first one I pulled was, when spirit returns to the children, will the mind be healed as quickly as the spirit was protected?
Okay, so after you heard everything I said, you realize that anything is possible, right? Now, we don't know everything that is available in the real world, in the new world, with all the suppressed technology and the suppressed cures, but anything is possible. They will not lack, because it's impossible to lack in the new world, impossible to have loss in the real world. It's coming. For everything you need is coming to you and to the children. I don't know exactly how, but we know it's going to happen.
Okay. Then the other one was, I would love to know how to get closer to God. First, though, I have a bit of a brain damage and I have read the Bible. I just get frustrated with it. Maybe God will help understand, either through messaging me or helping me another way.
All right. So the problem with that people have with hearing God's voice is they don't trust when they hear it. So it sounds like your voice. And he told me when I started doing my concert tour, I did 4.5-hour prophetic concerts where I sang Destiny songs over total strangers for 4.5 hours. I had a seat of honor at the front, and I went prepared with nothing but him. And he said, just don't doubt. Whatever comes to you, sing it. And I did. And they said, every country I went in, they said she was 100% accurate. And so I learned not to doubt. I heard it, I sang it, and it was right. And so that's the key. You quiet yourself. So most people pray by having a prayer list and asking God and begging God and crying. Instead, put on 963 hertz music or Theresa Griffith's Utopia or My Healing Place, because God is the one who did those. You know, I went into the studio with nothing and he played through me. I felt his breath blowing through me. So it's supernatural music. You put it on and you just lay in your bed and listen. And you talk to God and ask him a question, and then you just listen. And whatever comes to you, if it quickens you and it's like, oh, that's it, that is the answer, then you know that is the one. It's like, I believe there's a superhuman multivitamin for your situation each time. And so when I do that, I listen. I take a long time to do it. I'm not in a hurry. And I just listen. And if something comes, it's truth. Yes, it is, but it does not make me come alive. So I put it aside again, and all of a sudden, and it's like a riddle. And a lot of times he'll use the lines of a movie or the lines of a song or a memory or something, and it makes perfect sense. And so that's how I learned to hear his voice.
Okay, the last one. Do you have music to help with healing of a chronic lung disease?
So the emotional root to a lung issue is sorrow, grief, and rejection. So immediately you're going to remember your life, and that is what has happened to you. And that deposited in your lungs. And so once you know that, then in the emotional cleansing training that I teach, which you can get, I've got a self-help emotional cleansing training you can get to take that out of you. It's a sliver that is caused from a lie that you believe in childhood. All right. So in childhood, when trauma happens to you, you immediately believe it's your fault because you have a belief system that adults are always right. And so you blame yourself. And so whatever happened, you come up with a lie about yourself that is against yourself. And you say, it's my fault because I'm not good enough. I'm a mistake. I was never supposed to be here. Whatever. All these different lies. And so that lie embeds into a certain location. So the spine is the switchboard, and the spine determines where to send that toxic thought. And anger issues end up in the liver because some children have a righteous anger because of injustice that happened to them. Like when this little baby was blue and purple and crying, that emotional upheaval and anger ended up in my liver. All right. And so based on the lie, I believed that I was a mistake. I've pulled dozens of lies out of myself. Every time I pull a lie, a physical issue disappears. All right. And so you can do that. You can get that emotional cleansing training and ask God what the lie is that you believed. When that happened to you, that emotion of grief, sorrow, and rejection, the earliest childhood memory, you don't have to speak it out. You don't have to stay there. You just ask him, look in his eyes, picture his eyes and how he felt about what happened to you. And say, what was the lie I believed? And you'll get it. And then you ask him for the truth and you just listen. You wait. And I have a whole method that will help you find out what that truth was. But the truth will set you free, and that lung issue will clear up. Any issue will clear up. There are no impossibilities with God. None. It's a sliver that was inserted that caused you to walk with a warp for the rest of your life. And once you get it out, you're free. Okay.
It comes up a few times if we have a Telegram channel yet.
Oh, the Telegram channel. We don't have a Telegram channel. Please don't look for it. We will have, but we don't have right now. So we're just bringing me back up from the dead, right? Being resurrected, brought back onto the scene after being hidden away. So yeah, we're going. Shelley is working the job of 3 people, and this controlled chaos, she calls it. It's pretty funny. We laugh a lot, but we've been working very hard. So we'll get there. Thanks for your patience. All right.
And then there were a few people asking like different aspects of the med beds. Is, I guess, timing or whatever.
Yeah.
We could have.
You know, and I'm not an expert on the med beds. I know that there are many types of med beds beyond the military grade. I know that my healing center will have the military grade in time. I don't know how soon, but we're going to have everything else that you could imagine as fast as we can possibly get it. And plus, you know, we're going to teach my therapy to some massage therapists and have so many different kinds of therapies that what I want to offer is that you come to our healing center, probably starting in February, and get ready for your medbed appointment, because who knows how long you have to wait, and you don't have to just sit there. You can come and get relief immediately. Who knows, maybe you won't even need it when you get done with ours, you know? And we're going to this Saturday have, it's the energy enhancement system. Someone who has a facility near me in Texas, she's going to be with us speaking, and it's going to be very interesting. And you'll be able to ask questions of her. They've been seeing miracles there. Just beautiful things are happening there. And I'm going to go down there pretty soon with Shelley, and we're going to experience it firsthand so we can tell you about it. But like I said, don't wait to be happy. You don't have to wait to be healed or wait to have financial provision, because it's all given. But you have to look for it. All right.
Yeah, so those were the ones I...
Yeah, so we're looking for Tamara's questions now.
Okay, so I'm getting a private message, and the lady doesn't know the exact condition, but she has like racing and slowing of the heart, and like really fast and slow heartbeats, and she wants to know what she can do about that.
Okay, so I don't know if that's the same as a heart murmur, heart palpitations. I had that. And, you know, the emotional root to the heart is usually a broken heart. It could be a fear trauma from the past. So again, the emotional cleansing teaching, you can get that to help yourself figure out what happened and why, what caused that. But you can also visualize. So I was about to do a concert about, I don't know, 2016, 17. And I wasn't feeling well. And I had been allowing people to tell me their painful stories during their sessions. And I found out from Dr. Caroline Leaf that the power of words, you will be traumatized by hearing people's painful stories over and over, and you will re-traumatize yourself every time you rehearse that story. So that's why counseling is so ineffective. And you end up in counseling for years and decades because it doesn't heal. And so I didn't know why I was so weak, but then I realized. And so I stopped allowing that. But I was still weak when I was getting ready to do this concert, and I was sitting backstage, and my heart was just erratic, and I didn't know what to do, but I just put my hand on my heart, and I went in my mind, in my spirit, I went inside the heart of Jesus. And I pictured myself in there, and I began to listen to his heartbeat. And he said, I want you to actually say with me, boom, boom, boom. So I would concentrate on it. And I just kept doing it. And pretty soon, my heart entrained to his. And by the time, it was only like 5-10 minutes. By the time I walked out on the stage, I had all the energy I could possibly need, and my heart was fine. So that's an example of how you do it. You visualize it. You see with your real eyes, your spiritual eyes, into the real world. You have another one?
Yes, I have another one. I'm actually reading in the comments. A lot of questions are coming in about all your websites on where they can find you now.
I thought they were put up in the chat today. Well, you can find me on Rumble, on Tressie Trek. You can find me on The Trek with Theresa Griffith on Facebook. I'm on YouTube. Well, that's a harder one to find, but it's Somebody Cares 8888 or something like that. I haven't used YouTube in a long time. So just go to Rumble or the Trek with Theresa Griffith on Facebook.
We can post it again after the chat.
Yeah, we can post it again. But, everybody hates Facebook, but I really think the white hats have it now. It's not a bad thing anymore. They're just allowing the algorithms to remain the same until we get to the end, I think, to wake up more people. So I love it because I can post things in text and then add a picture, and I can feel like I can do so much more than I can do on Rumble. So, and maybe I just don't understand Rumble very well. But,
Okay. I do have the links posted, and I also have them on the main page, so you don't got to go through chat and look for them. So they're there.
All right.
And are
And
you
then
ready for
don't
another
forget,
question?
yeah, but don't forget that song that she started out with, that she put on the chat. Make sure you download that. That belongs to you. I did that for you. It's the song for the Patriots, a destiny song for the Patriots. And I sang your song, what you've been through, and it was all spontaneous. It was a miraculous thing that I dared to do. I just am a cliff jumper. I dare to jump off the cliff with no net. And I asked God to sing to you, and that's what came out spontaneously. And you can have it. You can have your own link, and it belongs to you, and you can listen anytime you need to.
Yes, and it's beautiful. Actually, if you guys haven't listened to it, that's also on my main page, and you guys can share that too, like she said, and have it for yourselves. And it is a beautiful song. So thank you, Theresa.
You're welcome.
And also, we have a question. It says, Theresa, your testimonies are awesome. Do you have music to help with healing for chronic lung disease?
Oh, that was the one. Okay. My healing place. So the deeper and the slower the music, so 55 beats per minute, is the perfect state for the body to heal itself. It's like the optimal position for the brain to cause optimal healing in the body. And so my healing place is the one that you want. I would play that before you go to sleep, or if you can play it on repeat, then do it, because it will heal your heart. It will heal your past. You will not even realize why you feel better in the morning emotionally. See, I believe that the body, soul, and spirit are like a computer. They need to defrag. Sleep is for defrag and realignment. All right. And so if you never turn off your computer, then it starts not working, because everything needs to be put back where it goes. And that's the same with the body, soul, and spirit, but they have to be in unity if you're going to come back and get restored during sleep. So if you go to sleep fretting, worrying, angry, that they will not be able to get realigned. And in the morning, you will have multiplied what was happening that night, and it will continue, and it will be a cycle that never ends. And it will hurt your body. It will absolutely bring death to your body. So instead, if you go to sleep picturing what you want to happen, what you need to happen, knowing that God already said yes, you give the angels the fuel to bring it to you. And you feel so much better the next day, and your body got to realign to heal itself, because it was designed as a med bed to heal itself. All right.
Okay, I have another question, but I'm not sure I'm going to pronounce this right, so bear with me. It says, Theresa, my mom has very bad lymphedema. What can help with that? And thank you.
Well, the lymphatic cannot drain if the person doesn't move. That's the only way it can be cleansed. It's the best way to cleanse it. And if the person can't move, again, my healing place is going to be helpful. But you can also bring healing to your loved one by doing craniosacral. I call it laying out of hands for the spinal fluid. So let's say your knee hurts. It's just you having a lot of trouble with it. I always tell people you put peppermint on it, and then you surround it with your hands, front and back, one on behind and one on top lightly, and you just let it sit there. Within 2.5 minutes, 50% of the pain is almost always gone. Like 90% of the time, 50% of the pain is gone. And in 5 minutes, all the pain is gone. All right. I fell one time and my lip swelled and my knee swelled pretty bad. And I even if you only, like, let's say the heart, you can only put one hand on it, it'll still work. But it's better if you can surround it, whatever's happening, and in 5 minutes, the swelling was gone. Same with the knee. And so the spinal fluid is like a wave that is given off from the body, everywhere in the body. And so if you surround the body part, it sends a message to the body, we need help down here. That's why when you get hurt, you automatically put your hand on that area. And so the spinal fluid pumps 10 times more wave into the area to bring healing. And when it does, you heal 10 times faster. And you get pain relief in 5 minutes. And it is also a sedative. And so I used to put myself to sleep doing that. And I would be to sleep in 5 minutes because it is such, and if you're having a panic attack or if you're full of anxiety and upset, then put your hand on your belly and your other hand behind you on your spine and deep breathe, and the peace, deep, deep peace comes to you. So what I'm saying is your loved one, whatever their health issue is, you can do that for them. So if it's a brain issue, I'm talking to the lady that talked about her brain. I had someone on my table that had brain damage for 6 years, and I did my therapy for her, and her brain was healed in one session. She went back to her therapist who did neurology, and she said, you don't even need me anymore because my work that I do for you doesn't even work anymore because you don't need it. It's possible. If you blow something up in your mind as being a big deal, then it is a big deal. But if you whittle it down, you magnify God and you demote the problem, and then you surround it and sing to your brain. You say, live, live, come back to life. I love you, brain. You can do it, brain. Whatever. You can get rid of a headache that way. So anything that hurts on your body, believe, and then help the body by doing that therapy. And if there's any pain, put peppermint on it. Peppermint is powerful. I hope that helps. I mean, I would bring her to our center and I'll have my experts work on her. We're going to have the best experts in every field, alternative medicine.
Well, here's a question that I think is fantastic because I'm kind of curious about this one myself. It says, question for Trustee Trake. Is the callusforhelp.live only for the USA, or can any and all countries use that link?
All countries. All countries. If you can click on a link, you can go to that website. And I think we have about 4 or 5 call centers numbers at the bottom, and one of them is in Canada. So that's all we have at right now, but we wanted to get as many hotlines as we could to be ready, so we didn't overload just 1 or 2.
That is amazing. I mean, because that's what the whole purpose, of getting people to where they need to be. So that is awesome.
Yeah. They predict 8 to 10% of the population will commit suicide after the EBS. And that's not the half of the problems that we're facing after the EBS.
I don't think this is a question, but this is, I think, a good compliment for you. And it says, Baja girl, or no, Lisa's respond, and it says, Baja girl, I suffered a stroke over 13 years ago. I was paralyzed. Always believe. Come and listen to Theresa. It has helped me so much.
Awesome.
And I think my admin, one of my admins, has something he wants to say. Lewis, go ahead.
It was Oathkeeper Bill. Oathkeeper, if you're there, go ahead and share your experience.
Oh, okay. Well, first of all, thank you for this opportunity.
Sorry,
I
Bill.
comment on my right shoulder. The VA actually even signed up to allow the privilege for the surgery to take place. But as I was learning different techniques, I went ahead and took it upon myself to do what I could for myself. And it's just amazing what has occurred here, because I learned a lot about the energy that our bodies have available to us, and healing energy, and it could be negative or positive, mind you. And with my shoulder, I was thinking, man, what did I do? Physically, I can understand how it happened, but I'm like, what about my past happened, to me? And it's weird and awesome at the same time when you're learning these things. But what I did is I gave myself more positive affirmations. I listened to a lower beats per minute music as I slept. My wife also purchased some organic castor oil and put it in I can't remember the proper name for it, but like a pad, and then I had to wear a t-shirt over it, But did that for like a few weeks. It wasn't like overnight, And do I still have bits and pains every once in a while? Yeah, but I overcome it with more affirmation, more, It doesn't mean I'm Superman, but wow, And I just wanted to share that because it works. Thank you for this opportunity.
Can I just ask if your dad put a lot of responsibility on you while you were growing up and expected a lot of you?
Get out of my head. Yeah, absolutely. And that absolutely was one of I'm the oldest boy of three. I was in the military. I also raised two boys myself and get this, 17 years. But anyway, so a lot of responsibilities. But I always have been positive with helping people the best I could. And
Right.
I think that's helped me as well. But
Yeah.
wow, that was amazing. Thank you, Theresa.
Just be careful as we go into the new world and you have this deep desire to help people that you don't carry their load for them, because they'll never learn that way. And you have to listen to your body. And if it's his yoke is easy and his burden is light. And if it's not easy and it's not light, it's not kingdom.
Absolutely. And if I may, I know time is permitted here. I've had to step away from loved ones. I personally have had to make that choice. I hated it, but I now understand it. And we have to be selfish for ourselves, for the love of ourselves, not egotistical. I know you know what I'm saying, but and I have found that in itself has helped heal those folks because they come back differently. And wow, it's happening. What a time to be alive, huh?
That's right.
Bless you and thank you so much.
You're welcome.
There's a question about cataracts. If you know of anything that will help with cataracts.
I would have to look it up, but it has to do with your perception about life. And if I had my own computer, I'd look it up right now for you. Maybe I can just put it on my lap. I'm just going to guess. I'm writing a book. It should be finished in 2024. I don't know how to. I got to get out of here. This how you have this. I don't know how to escape this page. I got to get out of that page. So I have the whole screen available to bring up a document. So I have a book of emotional roots to physical issues. That way you can just look up in the book, what is the emotional root of this? And you take that emotion and let it lead you back to the earliest childhood memory you remember feeling that way. And that's when it happened. That's when the lie was embedded. All right. So I'll look it up here. I'm thinking there's it could be that there's something that you didn't want to see. And so your perception, turned off your ability to see because it was too painful. So let's see what it says here. Inability to see ahead with joy. The future feels difficult and dark. That's the emotional root of cataracts. Does that hit home at all?
Let me ask him. Hang on just a second.
While he's asking, Theresa, can you answer this question real quick? Somebody's asking if you have any remedies on teeth and gum issues.
I have an entire class on supernatural dentistry. It's on Facebook. I wish I had done it a different way, but I think I actually have the download of that. I could make available. So, just email us at hope@someonebelievesyou.org, and we'll help you get into that class, because on the Facebook class, we had a ton of materials about things you can do to help yourself. And once again, you surround your mouth. I believe that we can download teeth on our own through putting this, surrounding it, laying on of hands, and then beginning to hum or even put the teeth together so they vibrate. And I kind of stopped doing it when the COVID thing happened, because all I was concerned about is saving lives. So I stopped. But I know someone that actually grew a tooth back. Half of it was gone, and he grew it back using a poultice, or not a poultice, but a comfrey mixture. I don't know what he put with it, but I was thinking if you took ivermectin and mixed it with the comfrey herb and packed the tooth, he said it took, I think he said it took 5 months to do it, but it's possible. Teeth are alive. They're not just bone, they're alive. And so you can speak to them, speak life to your mouth. All right. And so just email us and I'll give you instruction on how to get that class.
Okay. Lewis, were you able to come back?
Yeah, he said he doesn't know what he would not want to see, so I just told him to pray about it, and for him to, and then maybe God will show him.
Yeah, I mean, are you worried about the future? Have you been fearful about the future? Have you lost your joy because of the hardness of the way that we have had to endure? What about we could talk about the castor oil. I believe, I'd have to check, but Dr. Weesey's in Spring Lake, Michigan. I give his number out all the time because he works by telephone. I'm pretty sure they were putting castor oil in the eyes and it was dissolving the cataracts. But you can also, like Shelly did, she's been doing castor oil on the eyelids for just 4 days and she's not wearing glasses anymore. That fast. And so I'm doing it too now.
He's using castor oil now, has been for a couple of months.
Oh, good.
So he's using that. He just wanted to know what your thoughts were and what he could do other than castor oil. And because he says he's not getting any results really from the castor oil. That's the first thing I suggested to him.
Yeah, but did he put it in the eyes yet? A drop in the eyes?
On the eyelids at night before bed.
Okay, so if you want to email me, we'll check with that doctor and see if that he did do that, so that you can find out, if that is okay.
Okay, and Tamara has your email and all that stuff. So whenever
it's
I post
Hope.
thing,
Hope
we'll post all that.
Okay, hope@someonebelievesyou.org.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much.
Anybody else?
I do have one question, and I'm trying to find it again. Oh my Jesus. It was an important question. If somebody else wants to well, okay, hold on a minute. Okay, this is one of my admins, and she said she'll just ask herself. Mama Shar, go ahead.
Okay, I'm also a Michigander. I just wanted to let you know that. But my question is in regards to type 2 diabetes that affects so many, Americans, and obesity.
I'd have to get my computer again. We are going to be doing another trek for Emotional Roots, and we'll dedicate the whole trek to it. I can tell you the emotional route to obesity is need of protection, feeling unprotected in life because of whatever happened in childhood. All right, so I know that one by heart. It's going to be, if we keep doing these emotional routes, it's going to take so long. But maybe I know we're going to have the MedBeds show this Saturday, but maybe our very next one we'll do all of this. And I'll definitely get in the diabetes because I always like to get in the top ailments that people have so that the most people can be helped.
There was a question for peripheral neuropathy.
Yeah, and again, I would have to look all of that up, and I'm not prepared with my list up. So we'll just do a class on all of these ailments.
Okay, thank you very much.
Theresa, do you have time for one more question?
Sure.
Okay, and this is coming from also another admin. Blue-Eyed Blondie, go ahead.
Hi, thank you. I was just wondering if you can give me an insight on vertigo.
We had that just the other day, didn't we?
Yeah.
Can you, I'm
not sure.
I should have left it up and let you look them up.
Yeah.
I'll keep it up. Well, that's right. I had to look in the email because I couldn't find it in my list somehow. It wasn't in there. So I'll have you go into the email and put it in the search bar because I've given it to a client before, and we found it the other last time that way. Sorry about that. I think a lot of people have vertigo right now because I believe the shift, we're actually being turned, the whole world is being turned upright because we've been upside down. You know, everything is wrong. Everything is wrong. And so we're shifting everything right. And that is causing a lot of people to feel queasy and have vertigo. I've heard many, many people have it. Well, I know me, you know, when I found out my dad was not my dad, I had it that day. And then once, you know, somebody took me out of the safety of my little Facebook page and threw me into the Phil Godleski page chat, everything went viral, and it hasn't stopped. And so I'm used to having a nice slow pace in my life and being, you know, pretty well secluded and alone and in peace. And all of a sudden, I'm just being spun all over the place to the point that I have felt sick to my stomach, and like my brain is just wow, you know, and had to do deep breathing and do my spinal fluid hold and you know, different therapies. So the world is changing so fast now. We've had to wait a long time, it's true, and that has been hard. But now things are going very, very fast. And the faster they go, the more it's going to feel, we're going to feel queasy, like we're on a roller coaster. Yeah, what do you got? Oh, go ahead to me. Vertigo. Scattered thinking. Worry. Okay, and then I got personal with the person in a specific way. Desperate for love and approval, but not being able to find it anywhere. Does that make sense? Does that hit home?
Not so much for me, but I mean, I was in a car accident, so maybe just kind of the impact of all that and everything, that might be part of it though then too.
Okay. I mean, I bet there's more to it, but I just gave that one to that particular client, and there's probably another one in the emails that might have more. If you can, and otherwise we probably should stop with the emotional roots because it could go on for generations.
Okay, Theresa, I know that you went a little bit over, and we love and appreciate what you did here tonight. A lot of people are very appreciative of what you've done for them. And do you have any closing thoughts or anything you would like to add or share before, or, you know, closing
I would
statements?
just encourage everybody to get prepared to go forward. Help yourself first. You have to self-nurture. To the extent you give out, you have to self-nurture. And that's what that gentleman was talking about. It's not selfishness. It's prioritizing yourself in order to stay healthy enough to help more people, and that you count too. You know, that was one of my lies. I was told I don't count. But if I hadn't learned it, I wouldn't be here. You know, so I make sure that I get in the things that I love on a weekly basis. I take care of myself, and then learn the methods for helping people with anxiety and panic attacks on the website, callusforhelp.live. But then also go to the other website, someonebelievesyou.org, and go into shop and go into the music. Get the music that you need for yourself and that you know will help other people. So it's handy. Or just you can send them to that other website. But also get those trainings: healing for family rejection, freedom from anxiety, how to help those around you after the EBS, different ones like that, and study and get ready, the condensed emotional training so that you can heal yourself. I never go to a doctor. I heal myself, and you can too. I got to know is what the root is, because you were designed to be exempt from all physical issues. It's just the lie that causes, it gets into the gears, and it has to be pulled in order for the body to be able to continue to heal itself.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I think you did an amazing job here tonight, and I think that what you did here is going to help quite a few people. There's a lot of great comments on the wall, so I know that you've helped many here tonight, and we are so grateful that you took the time and came on with us, and thank you so much.
You're welcome. It was an honor and a privilege.
All right. Does anybody else have anything they want to add before we close, admins?
You can't go until you say when the RV is going to happen.
Any moment. Oh, I know what we need to do. We all need to put our intentions on the 22nd because it's Tressy's birthday. There was a prediction by a financial institution that the stock market would crash on the 22nd. So why not? We just set our intentions on that and all thank you for the 22nd. Put it on your mirror, put it on an old t-shirt and wear it to bed, because the frequency actually works with words on clothing and everything. And let's just do it. I believe we can actually bring it home that way.
Cotton or linen?
Yeah. I'm going to let you decide.
Cotton it is.
All right.
I love you.
I love you.
And thank you very much for spending your evening with us. We greatly appreciate it.
You're welcome. All right. Good night.
Good night.
Good night. God bless you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.